Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. This time, we're going to be focusing on veteran recovery, and I've got some really incredible material to go over with you.
I was just looking it over, and yeah, it seems like we're going to be focusing mainly on Sierra Health and Wellness.
Right. They're based up in Northern California and doing
Hmm.
some really fascinating work. They're really looking at veteran recovery in a very holistic way.
Yeah, it's a very comprehensive approach, isn't it? It's not just about, treating addiction or mental health issues.
It's mind, body, spirit, the
Mm.
whole picture. And one of the things that really stood out to me was this concept from David Burke.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about the power of community in recovery, this idea of strength and solidarity,
Hmm.
and how, veterans can really find support and encouragement from others who've walked a similar path.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You're
Yeah,
coming from this world of intense camaraderie and shared purpose, and then you transition back to civilian life.
right.
And that can be a very difficult transition for a lot of people. And to have that sense of community can really be a lifeline.
Absolutely. And that's where organizations like Sierra Health and Wellness come in. They're not just treating symptoms.
Right.
They're really creating this whole ecosystem of support. And it's not just limited to one location either.
No, they've got quite a few.
They have a whole network across Northern California and Nevada. So they're clearly dedicated to reaching as many veterans as possible.
And they've implemented this continuum of care model,
Oh, yeah, I was reading
which
through
is designed to guide veterans through every single stage of recovery.
So it's not just about providing treatment.
Exactly.
It's about providing the right kind of treatment at the right time, depending on where someone is in their journey.
You got it. It starts with a thorough assessment to understand the individual's needs.
Okay.
And then from there, they offer a whole range of services, everything from detox and inpatient treatment to outpatient programs,
Wow.
sober living, and even ongoing support through their alumni network.
It's like a personalized roadmap,
It is.
guiding veterans through each step of the way.
And, it's particularly important when you consider that many veterans are dealing with more than one issue at a time.
Right, like dual diagnosis,
Yes,
the co-occurrence of mental health conditions, and substance use disorders.
absolutely. And it's a very prevalent issue, unfortunately. Your research from Pew Research Social Trends shows that 20% of veterans with PTSD
Wow.
also struggle with substance abuse. And we see similar numbers from SAM-HSA data showing over a quarter of veterans receiving care from the VA who have PTSD
It's a lot.
also have a substance use disorder.
Those are some pretty sobering statistics.
They are.
It really highlights the need for specialized treatment options like the ones Sierra Health and Wellness provides.
Well, and the good news is that, access to these types of services is expanding. The VA Mission Act has been really instrumental in allowing veterans to seek dual diagnosis treatment at approved community care centers,
Well, that's great.
including Sierra Health and Wellness. So this really opens up more options for veterans to get the tailored care that they need.
Before we kind of delve deeper into their approach, I think it's important to really understand PTSD. Because a lot of people might think it's just about having some bad memories.
Yeah,
But it's so much more than that.
it is. The material you've gathered describes it as a condition where the nervous system essentially gets stuck after a traumatic event. So imagine your body's fight or flight response being constantly switched on, even when there's no real danger present.
So your body's basically trapped in this state of hypervigilance,
Exactly.
unable to relax and feel safe.
One way to visualize it, I think, is like a car stuck in high gear,
Ah.
unable to downshift even after the race is over.
Wow, yeah, that's a powerful analogy.
Yeah,
And it really explains why traditional talk therapy might not be enough to address PTSD.
exactly. You need something that can help re-regulate the nervous system.
And that's where Sierra Health and Wellness's holistic approach comes into play. They recognize that healing from trauma involves addressing the mind, body, and spirit. So in addition to things like cognitive behavioral therapy, they're also incorporating things like nutritional counseling, fitness programs, and even art therapy.
Yes, and that's just scratching the surface.
Wow.
They offer a wide range of therapies and activities, including mindfulness practices, yoga, and even equine therapy.
It's all about finding what works best for each individual.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating how they're weaving this holistic approach into every aspect of their continuum of care model. It really shows a deep understanding of the complexities of veteran recovery.
And what's even more impressive is their dedication to staying on the cutting edge of PTSD treatment. They're constantly researching and incorporating new therapies and approaches,
Wow.
ensuring that veterans have access to the most effective care possible.
It's clear that they're really committed to helping veterans heal and rebuild their lives. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a pause here. We'll come back and pick up where we left off in part 2 of your deep dive.
It really is remarkable how they manage to offer such personalized care while still having such a comprehensive range of services.
Right. I was really impressed with the variety of therapies they offer.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about yoga and mindfulness earlier,
Hmm.
but they also have things like art therapy and even equine therapy.
That's pretty incredible.
It really is.
Hmm.
What's the thinking behind offering such a diverse range of therapies?
Well, it goes back to that mind-body-spirit connection.
Okay.
Traditional talk therapy is important, of course,
Right.
but it doesn't always address the deep-seated physical and emotional impacts of trauma.
Okay.
So these complementary therapies provide these alternative ways for veterans to process their experiences, to really reconnect with themselves,
Hmm.
and to build those coping mechanisms.
I imagine for someone struggling with PTSD, being able to express themselves creatively or connect with an animal
Right.
could be incredibly therapeutic.
Oh, absolutely. It offers a different way to communicate and to heal.
And, thinking back to that analogy of the nervous system being stuck in high gear,
Mm-hmm.
these types of therapies can be really effective in helping to regulate the nervous system and promote a sense of calm and grounding.
Absolutely.
It sounds like they're really providing veterans with a whole toolkit
Yeah.
of resources to draw from,
It is a toolkit.
empowering them to find what works best for them.
Exactly. And it ties back to, their commitment to individualized care.
Yeah.
They're not just throwing therapies at veterans and hoping something sticks.
Right.
They're really working collaboratively with each individual to develop these personalized treatment plans that take into account
Yeah.
each person's unique needs and preferences.
So it's not just about the what of treatment. It's also about the how.
Absolutely. And that personalized approach makes a huge difference in terms of engagement and ultimately success.
And speaking of success, one of the things that really stood out to me about Sierra Health and Wellness was their emphasis on alumni support.
Yeah.
They recognize that, recovery doesn't end when you leave a program.
Right.
You invested all this time and energy in your healing,
Mm-hmm.
and then suddenly you're back in the real world,
Exactly.
facing all those triggers and challenges. Having that support system in place can be crucial during that transition.
Absolutely. Their alumni group provides a sense of community and belonging that's so vital for long-term recovery. They offer regular meetings, group activities, even mentorship opportunities.
Thinking back to that David Burke quote about strength and solidarity,
Yes.
seems like Sierra Health and Wellness has really taken that to heart.
Yeah.
They've woven this idea of community support into every aspect of their program.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're constantly looking for ways to expand their offerings and improve the lives of veterans.
That's great.
One thing that I thought was really innovative was their focus on family support.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, they recognize that trauma and recovery don't just impact the individual.
Right.
Families are deeply affected as well.
Of course.
So they offer these family therapy sessions, educational workshops, and support groups specifically designed to help loved ones understand and cope with the challenges of PTSD and substance abuse.
That's so important because often family members are on the front lines, trying to support their loved ones.
Right.
But they often feel lost and overwhelmed themselves.
Yeah.
So having access to resources and guidance can make a world of difference.
Absolutely. And by addressing the needs of the entire family unit,
Yeah.
Sierra Health and Wellness is really creating this more supportive and understanding environment for veterans to heal and to thrive.
They're really taking a comprehensive long-term view of recovery.
They are. It's pretty remarkable what they've managed to accomplish.
It is. They're setting a high bar for veteran care.
They are.
But, as we're wrapping up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious, are there any limitations to their approach? What challenges might veterans still face, even with this level of support?
That's a great question. And it's important to acknowledge that even with the best resources available, recovery is an ongoing process.
Right.
It's not a destination you reach.
Yeah.
It's a journey. And there will be setbacks and challenges along the way.
I imagine stigma is still a major hurdle for a lot of veterans.
Oh, absolutely.
Seeking help for mental health or substance abuse issues, can be seen as a sign of weakness,
Right.
especially in a culture that values strength and resilience.
You're absolutely right. And that stigma can prevent veterans from reaching out for help in the first place or from fully engaging in treatment once they've started. So while Sierra Health and Wellness is doing this incredible work to create this supportive environment,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of changing societal perceptions
Right.
and really breaking down those barriers.
It sounds like community support plays a key role here as well.
It does.
It's not just about formal treatment programs.
Yeah.
It's about creating a culture where veterans feel safe and supported
Yes.
in sharing their struggles and seeking help without fear of judgment.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's about fostering a sense of understanding and empathy,
Hmm.
both within the veteran community and in society as a whole. And that brings up a really important point that I think we should explore further when we come back for the final part of your deep dive.
You've piqued my curiosity. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We were talking about how important the community is when it comes to veteran recovery.
Yeah, you can have all these amazing programs like the ones that Sierra Health and Wellness offers,
Right.
but without that community support, it's just not enough.
And as we've been talking about all these different therapies and approaches, it's really struck me that recovery isn't just about the individual veteran.
Hmm.
It's about their families, their friends,
Yeah,
their entire support network. It's really a collective effort.
absolutely. Think about it. When a veteran comes home and they're struggling with PTSD or substance abuse, it impacts everyone around them. Their families are often the ones, on the front lines trying to provide support,
Yeah.
but they often feel completely unequipped or overwhelmed themselves.
And like we were talking about before the break, that stigma around mental health issues.
Oh, it's huge.
It's a huge barrier. It prevents veterans from reaching out for help, and it can even isolate them from the people who care about them the most.
It's true. So, while specialized treatment programs are essential,
Right.
they're really only one piece of the puzzle.
Okay?
Creating that supportive community where veterans feel safe and understood,
Right.
that's equally crucial.
So what can we do as individuals and as communities to help foster that sense of support?
Yeah.
It feels like such a big issue.
Yeah.
Where do you even begin?
Well, I think it starts with awareness,
Okay.
educating ourselves about the invisible wounds of war, understanding the challenges that veterans face, and recognizing the signs of PTSD and substance abuse.
Right.
The more we know, the better equipped we are to offer support. That makes sense. But it's not just about recognizing the signs, it's about knowing what to do when we see them.
Exactly.
What can I, as an average person, actually do to make a difference in a veteran's life?
I would say start by creating a space for open and honest conversations.
Hmm.
Let veterans know that you're there to listen without judgment.
Yeah.
Offer practical help like running errands or just being a companion.
Okay.
Sometimes those little things can go a long way.
And I suppose it's also about advocating for better resources and services for veterans.
And absolutely.
Supporting organizations like Sierra Health and Wellness, donating our time or money,
Yes.
speaking up for their needs in our communities and with our elected officials.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that supporting veterans isn't just a government responsibility.
Right.
It's a collective one.
Yeah.
We all have a role to play in creating a society where veterans feel valued and understood and supported.
This whole deep dive has been incredibly insightful.
I've learned so much about, the complexities of veteran recovery and the incredible work being done by organizations like Sierra Health and Wellness.
And remember, if you or someone you know is a veteran struggling with the invisible wounds of war, there is help available. Reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Right.
It's the first step towards healing and reclaiming your life.
That's a powerful message to end on. Recovery is possible, and it's a journey best traveled with the support of a caring community. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into veteran recovery. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.